My name is Joanna. I am your MLS manager here at the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association. Jason Jacobs is your director here at the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association. And today he is headed out for a resale conference to get us some more information on some more great things that we can do for our MLS system to help benefit everything that you guys do with technology and everything you guys need for your industry. We are covering the differences today between Remine and RPR. So this will be recorded. And if you have any questions later on after the webinar, you can always call in. We've got a good sized MLS team here to help you guys out with anything. So after this webinar, if you feel like it's a lot, because these are bigger tools, if you get out there and you start playing with it and you feel like you get stuck anywhere, I encourage you guys to give us a call. Both of these platforms also do have their own support that you can call as well, but we're here to walk you guys through anything that you may need. Now, we do these sessions every Monday. We do different tools consistently in the MLS. When you log in and you see your dashboard, I know a lot of us just go right for that big blue MLS button, click into the MLS, do what we've got to do and get out. But we're hoping that with these MLS Mondays, we can help you guys better understand all the tools that you see next to that MLS button and underneath that MLS button, help you guys integrate that into your business to help with your, success and ease of doing business. I know right now, where we're at as an industry, there's a lot of changes going on, and the more tools that you utilize in your business, I think the better you'll find it help you not only complete your business, but also help you find where your value points are and provide more value to your customers. So today's two tools, which is not common, we usually do one tool, but we're doing RPR and Remine because these are both huge databases for large amounts of information. It's widely a data tool for both of these. However, I know a lot of people prefer one over the other, and then we have a lot of people who look at both tools and say, well, what's the difference? So that's why we're here today, is to kind of talk about the difference between the two, because even though they're both data programs, I like to think of them as two different personalities. So Remine is going to be more consumer behavioral based. It's got a lot of data in there so that you can look into property data. But when searching, I think it's a lot more behavioral, consumer-based. RPR is a lot more focused on the hard data, the property descriptions, the public records, and things like that. So depending on what you prefer, or maybe it's just what you're trying to accomplish, you can use one tool over the other. Let's go ahead and we're going to share our screen, and I'll show you where to get to both of these tools. All right, so right here on our dashboard, as I said, we've got a lot of tools here for you guys to use. And then we have Remine and RPR. These are the two that we're going to be going over today. And I am going to shrink my screen down a little bit. Real quick, we're going to start with Remine. I am going to go into both of these tools for you guys so you understand how to navigate both of them. And in going through both of them, you will see the differences between the two. Now, there is a lot of capabilities within both of these dashboards, and it's a 1-hour session with you guys today. So I don't want to overwhelm you. We're going to do some of the basic navigations in both of them. However, a deeper dive into everything that they do. For example, both platforms have CMA capabilities. And in May, I believe it's May, it's either 13th or 16th. If you go in your education calendar, you'll find that we have a class specifically for how to complete CMAs. But what we want to walk you guys through, we'll show you how to use these dashboards because you can use it for a plethora of things. One, you can use it for farming. You can pull data from it and do a lot of farming with it, whether that's to gain sellers or gain buyers, whatever it is that you're going after. You can do both of those within these platforms. You also can take a deep dive into information if you are trying to complete a CMA. Maybe you're getting ready to go on a listing appointment and you're looking for assistance on how to find the data with the home that you're going into. You want to be more knowledgeable before you take that first step in the door. You'll be able to take a deep dive into a property in this as well. Then you can also help your buyers in their research. There's a lot of data out here that will help your buyers make a decision. You can pull lots of reports in both of these tools that you can present to them. So you can see that while these tools may be just considered data tools, they can be used in several different ways, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So out here on the Remine dashboard, they do have a client interface within this platform. So you can invite clients in, it'll send them a link and they can search and use this tool. You can add them to saved searches in here. Some people prefer using the Remine tool over the MLS, and that's fine, to each their own. We've got people on both. So if you were to add your customers in here into contacts and set them up on a search, you would see a lot of data right here when you log in. You would see anything that you have for your saved searches. You can set yourself up for property notifications, and you would have all of your information for the day right here on your main dashboard. However, what we're going to focus on today is this search tool here on the side. This is where the bulk of our members spend their time. Let me move the faces again. So right off the bat here, we start with the map. We've got properties along the side. We've got a search bar on top here. And it's very, very busy. However, once you walk through this the first time, I promise you, you're going to love it. So here, if we take our map, we're going to move it up to the Fort Myers area. That's where I'm streaming from today. So we'll focus on the Fort Myers side of the river. What we talked about earlier is Remine is mainly going to focus on consumer behaviors. These filters running along the side here will help you filter down your information. So for today, we're going to start from a broad point of view and pull a plethora of data, and then we will kind of zone it down into a single property and show you what you can get, what you can gain for a specific property. So right now for this example, we're going to pull a farm market of data, but if you were to pull in a bunch of data, now we're in Cape Coral, let's hop over to Fort Myers. If you were to pull in a bunch of data, you could also use this for a CMA report. Maybe you just want basic market data that you want to, report on. You can see here, as we zoom in and move around, we've got these blue bubbles with the numbers in it. This is showing how many properties fit into our filter. Now, we haven't applied any filter, so this is pulling all properties. And as we move, whatever is in our screen in these four walls here, we'll see how many results we have here. So we have 3,052 properties within our screen, and every single one of those results are here on the side. Now, it's important to know that if you have listing highlighted, that's just going to pull the data from our MLS. However, if we have properties highlighted, that is pulling all data. So it will show the MLS information, but it also is going to show all public record information. And that's why we really like to use both of these tools with RPR and Remine, because it is giving us more data. It's pulling that public record data. So we're going to go ahead and focus on this little neighborhood here. What we want to do is use these tools here to just select out the neighborhood that we want to focus on. So you can use a square or a circle, but I always like to use the polygon because we can draw crazy shapes. I mean, maybe your neighborhood has this really weird shape, you want to go around specific sections. You can do that here by clicking down and dropping it wherever you want and draw your shape. If you've used the tool shapes in MLS, it's exactly the same. Didn't quite click. There we go. So now once our shape has been complete and we've joined the line back where we started, we can see here we are now just pulling data within our shape. And we've gotten down to 357 results, and our filters will start running across the top here. The fun part of Remine are these filters right here. These are the main filters that are used inside of Remine. We're going to go through each of these, but you also have a plethora more of filters up here. A lot of these coming from the MLS, your status type, is it active, is it pending? If you wanted to, maybe you want to filter out the actives. maybe you want to focus on certain beds and baths. You can see here has basement. This is a national tool, so that always makes everybody here laugh, because here in Florida, we're not really focusing on basements. But let's use these big tools here that are consumer behaviors running along the side. So property value, they're taking what the publicly recorded mortgage was on the property and running those numbers against the public data. You can do a minimum, maximum, or you can do the set ranges they have here. So if you're looking to focus on homes that are valued at 750 and above, maybe you want the $1 million market, you can do that. You can go for the 250, 500. I see a lot of people, putting in all kinds of different things. So we can do a 400,000 to an 800,000 value, whatever it is your niche is, you can really get into the specifics here. So now we're just looking at properties that are 400 to 800,000. That takes our results down to 10. And for me, I want to be able to send out, let's say I want to send out 50 postcards. I'm going to go ahead and just apply the 400,000. We've got 13. So maybe we're not going to focus on property. We can sit here and play with it all day as needed to get the right number that we need. So home equity, this is where they're going to take that publicly recorded mortgage and then we're going to cross it against what the property value is, and that's going to give us what the equity is. So a lot of times when we're working on a farm market, we're just sending out a blanket list to all the addresses in the neighborhood, whether they've recently sold, whether they have equity in their home, like we don't know where they stand. We're just hoping maybe they want to sell their house. But if you could get more bang for your buck, and instead of sending out 357 postcards, you could send out, whatever it might be for you, 150 or 50 postcards to people that you know are more likely to sell, your marketing dollars will go further. So maybe we want somebody who at least has 50,000 equity in their home. We can see that gets us down to 134. So we want somebody who's got at least a little bit of a reason to sell. Ownership time, so how long have they owned the home? NAR statistic has said for years that people typically move every 5 years on average. I know a lot of numbers are saying that that is going up. So maybe we at least want them to have lived there a minimum of 5 years. We don't want anybody who's just recently bought the house. That brings us down to 68. We also have here our sell score. Now, this is an algorithm that Remine has created based on their consumer behaviors. This is going to show, they pull records from like the US Postal Service, anything that's attached to that address. Maybe they're, remodeling, they're doing different things, that they're pulling those consumer behaviors. And based on those consumer behaviors, they're telling you whether they're likely to sell or not. I think this is everybody's favorite tool. A lot of people will come in here and just filter out by the sell score and just do people who are medium and highs and take out the people who are less likely to sell. We can apply that over that. We can see it brings us down to 6 based on that sell score. So it could be just an area that does not have a huge turnover rate. We also have filters such as absentee owner. So is it a corporate owner? Is it owner occupant? Are they absentee but in the state? And then are they absentee out of the state? So if you're focusing on out of area or you don't want out of area owners, you can filter by those. You also have the flood zone risk. I know this is a hot topic lately. So maybe you're looking to talk to people who are in the flood zones and you're looking to, figure out what you can do to get them out of that area. Or maybe you don't want to work with the flood risk zone because you're just done hearing about it. You could go into the low flood risk zones and just market to those people if you wanted to. And you can even have it show you the flood boundaries, and that will lay that map over here so that you can see the different boundaries. And because I am streaming, some of these things take a second to load. So we've got building type. know people like to think of themselves as the condo queens or the condo kings. If you want to focus on your condos, you can. Maybe you only want to do single family homes, you can. So if you're looking to only go after a certain niche market of building type, you can filter that out. We also have land use here, so residential, commercial, land. We're seeing a lot of people lately use this tool for land. We're seeing a lot of land moves, so you can do that if you need to, or you can just filter out the unnecessary things that you don't want to work with. Maybe it's not an area you're comfortable with. You don't want anything to do with farmland, commercial. You can do however you need to fit your niche market. So then we've got mortgage rates and we've got mortgage age. So this can give you some insight to maybe their mortgage rate's really high and you want to move them. Maybe it's really low. They're not, then you don't want to move them right now. I know we're hearing a lot about mortgage rates. It's like flood, mortgage rates, insurance. Those are the hot topics right now. You can filter by those. What's great though is you having access to this tool and good data does give you an upper hand as well. I see a good amount of people using these two filters to work with their favorite mortgage person and do some co-branding. So that would look something like maybe sending out a postcard that says, are you looking to refinance or are you looking to sell? You've got somebody here for either side. So your mortgage person could get a refinance. You could possibly get a sale, or you could figure out any way that you could co-brand with your favorite mortgage person. You pull all the data and then you're going after a more specific niche market there. So last sale price, this would be the price that the house last sold for. Just gives you more insights of whether they're likely to sell or not. Distressed deals, we hear a lot about this. People are kind of like on the fence of whether it's coming back or not. So until then, if you wanted to go after this niche, you've got this pendants has been filed, notice of default, notice of foreclosure of sale, and notice of trustee sale. So you could select these and have do just a distressed sale. I know that there's a lot of people that have specific classes that they've taken and they specialize in distressed properties. And if you wanted to do a marketing campaign for that, you certainly can. We've got cash buyers. So if you click that, it just simply shows you anybody who's paid cash. So if you wanted to go after people who are doing cash buyer or cash specifically bought, maybe they're going to have a lot more equity in it, you can go forward with that. CLS, this is going to plug you into the commercial location score. So if you have a subscription to Moody's Analytics, then you can plug that in here. The subscribe button will bring you into your profile. You can link your Moody's Analytics subscription into this profile. If you don't have Moody Analytics and you're getting into commercial, I do suggest you call the association. We have a relationship with Moody's Analytics. We can get you a good price for that. And it is a commercial tool that works a lot like Remine, except with a commercial brain. So it's going to show you all the insights into commercial properties and help you complete all of that data research as well. So once we have completed our search and we've got it right down to where we need, for our example, it's super, super simple because we've only got 6 results. Hopefully, if you are pulling data, you're pulling more data so that you can cast a wider net, but we're going to keep it simple for our group today. Running along the side again here, you can see all of our results. So if you had 50, 100, or however many results they would all run along the side here. What you want to do if you wanted to keep all of this information is you want to select all and you want to add it to your cart. And this button really does throw everybody for a loop because nobody wants to buy 6 homes at once. But I promise you, we're not Amazon. You're not buying it. So you're just going to go ahead and you're going to throw it into a cart and you're going to name your cart. You can see here I've done a couple of examples with our classes. So we'll create a new one and we'll just type out example 2. And it'll say, do you want to create example 2? Click that and add 6 properties to your cart. We now have this beautiful list saved so that we don't have to do this research over and over again. We can focus on these 6 properties and come back to them as needed. Over here, we have our saved searches and our cards. So if we selected all of these, again, same thing that we did with the cart, you can click saved searches and label out your search. If you wanted to add anybody to an auto email for that saved search, you can do that here. Just make sure that they're already in your contacts over here. So this works the same as cards. However, this is something that you can share with your customers. So over here, we're going to go to cards. We're going to see the list that we just made along with my other lists that I have made before. So if you are working multiple markets, you can have multiple farm markets out here or data polls, however it is that you want to look at this. So out here, we've got different options. We can export this data by selecting the ones that we want to export and clicking export, and it will give us an Excel file. We can include all the columns or select the columns that we want to use. So if you're just looking for an Excel spreadsheet, a lot of us that use mailer programs, they just ask for an Excel spreadsheet, you send it over the way that they need it, and they print out all of the addresses for you on those postcards, easy peasy. Or you can click send mailers. That's going to bring you into a third-party program that they are linked in. It will allow you to design a postcard or a mailer, and it will put this whole list of data into their system. They will print it for you. They will send it out for you. Under the More button, you can easily click Print Mailing Labels. So if you are going to print the stickers yourself onto labels, the Avery label system, and lick and stick them yourself, you've got your postcards already done and printed, you can click this. It'll give you some options. It'll ask you which Avery profile that you're using, which layout you're using, which sticker size, and then it will give you a PDF that you can easily just print onto your Avery labels, and they're done. So whether you're sending it out to be printed or you're printing out the labels yourself, this is a great way to do a farm and pull data. Now let's see, I don't see that we have any, oh, we've got one question. It's asking if it's being recorded. It is being recorded. And if you're having internet issues, it is being recorded. So you can reach out to me at joanna@rpcra.org, and I can get you a link for the class. So this is, like I said, this is a broad view of the program and the large data pool. However, if we are in the search tab, we can also take a deep dive into a property. So if you start to type out only 2836 Northwest 21st, I keep choosing random numbers and I get really lucky because Cape Coral is a grid. So if we come out here, as you start typing, if you were to just simply click enter on your keyboard, it's going to pull data in that neighborhood around it and give us the same capabilities as it had before. However, we want to take a deep dive into the property. As it starts to populate, you want to click right here and click on the physical property. Once you do that, you will see the full view of the property. You can share this with a consumer if you wanted to. You can save it to your cart to keep an eye on it, and you can create a CMA. This will open up the CMA portal, and this is a very quick run through of a basic CMA. So again, in May, we're going to cover how to do CMAs in a more deep dive. We don't have enough time for that today, but this is a great way to do a quick one if you wanted to run out here and play around with it. Again, you can't break the system. Go out there, play with it, maybe try it on your own house, see if it's a tool that you like, and then you can bring your questions to us in May if you get stuck on anything. So if we scroll down here, we can see that there is a lot of information from the public record, and that it is also going to give us a lot of consumer behavior data as well. So it's showing us what the value of the property is, what the loan balance on the property is, the net equity, and the percentage of equity, which they seem like they're sitting in a good position. This could be a good potential person to try to. The parcel maps and other maps are here. And because we're zooming, like I said, some of this information takes a moment to load. The parcel map will show you the dimensions of the property, so what length and width of that property might be. Flood risk is going to show you the flood map. Location will show you the Google map, and view is also going to show you the street view of the Google map. There's some different insights for you there. This property may have a plat map. You can click into here. It'll bring you into a third-party site where you can try to pull out that plat map. There is a charge for that, but that is because it is third-party. Everything else that we're going inside of Remine today is free to you thanks to your association. There used to be an upgrade for this system that was $99 a month, but if you are a part of Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association, you get that upgrade free of charge. All right, so if we keep going, we can see that there are all of the tax information, year built. This is basic information. Again, a lot of people will tell us, we can get this on LIPA. You certainly can, but all of these different sections are just in one spot. So you don't have to go to all of these websites to do all of your research. You can stop in one place and get it all at the same time. So we've got parking information, structure information, the pool. We've got mortgage information, which is great. Before you go into a listing appointment, you can know if they're upside down or not. Have information into who the lender is. This also can help you. I know we've been getting a lot of calls lately about fraud properties, and there are a good amount of people that are opening up Remine and asking the homeowner questions and looking at that information to see if it matches. They'll say, do you have a loan on the property? Do you know who that loan is through? What does that look like? And they're helping them stay out of the fraudulent property section. So tax information, assessed information, market values, property history. And again, this is pulling from the public record and our MLS data as well. We can see here the mortgage history on the property. Schools. This is pulled in from Niche. So if you've used Niche before, it is a platform where all of the school information is kept, but it shows the grades, the type, the distance from this specific property. So this is just going to show the closest ones. I know here we've got a different school program than a lot of the nation is used to, but it still gives you an idea. A lot of people are calling and asking about schools. This will show you what's closest. And you can continue on to the Niche site if you needed to get more information. The valuation of this property, you can see here the average value of what Remine thinks it's worth is $329,000. We've got our range here. If you've gone out and done research, you can put what you believe it's worth and it'll stay in here as a note for you for later. Now, I know as I scroll, everybody automatically just goes, oh my God, where did they get those numbers? So the First American, that's their value. This is Remine's algorithm value, and they come with estimated ranges. Redfin's value and the Zestimate for both the house value and the rental value. And a lot of people ask us why the estimates are on there. That is because your consumer, your customer that you're about to go sit with has already looked at the estimate, and you need to be prepared for what it is that they're looking at. They're going out and they've already done their research before they called you, right? They looked up their house on the internet. That's why they called you in the first place. They got excited. They saw that their house was worth $1 million, and that's what they want for it. So you have all of your research right here on one screen. You can see what your customer has seen, what the algorithm is pulling, and then of course, you can always pull your own CMA and present that. However, you know what discussion it is that you're walking into. AirDNA helps with vacation rentals. So this will show you estimates for the vacation market, if they were going to use Airbnb, VRBO, all those different types of companies. This is a third-party website, but you can link your profile into here and it'll pull all the data from Remine. It'll plug it into AirDNA and help you create a profile if that's the niche market that you're working with. We then have a demographic report for the area. This is something that you can provide to your buyers. And then we have owners and associated people. So down here, you will see that it says unavailable for this one. However, there are properties, if they have not scrubbed their information, if their phone number and email are still out there public record. I usually see about, like, I would say 70% of the properties, you can still find their information. Down here, you would find an email and phone number. Now it says owners and associated people. You can see here, it just has the owner. However, if there were renters on the property, it would show them as associated people. If they had kids that were over the age of 18, they're not record owner of the property, it would show them as well. So this will help you if you're trying to do research, figure out the tenant situation or the whoever it is that might be living in that home. And they pull that data from the United States Postal Service. So if you've got a customer, which we see this is what the tool is used for a lot, you've got a customer that calls you and says, hey, Betty, thank you so much for selling us this house last year. We absolutely love it. But there's a vacant lot next to us, and we just fear one day they're going to build a huge, massive home, and we want to own the lot next to it so that we can always have space to roam. Do you know who owns the property next door? Well, you can pull that up on Remine. You can come out here and see if you can find their information here and reach out to them and help your customers while making a sale at the same time. Is there somewhere where it lists the construction of a house, frame versus concrete block? Let's see, there is a lot of data. I know I saw up here, it showed that it was asphalt, I believe, attached garage. This is what it's giving us for that. It's not going to show, I don't think I've seen concrete versus wood frame on here, but it does give us the roof construction. It gives us the AC, the garage, the pools, the zoning, but it's not going to give the construction structural data on that property. Yeah, because I don't think that is anywhere. If anybody knows, you can type it in Q&A, but I have not seen that listed anywhere on public record before. Okay, so I think that's all of our questions on here. Now, again, there are a lot of tools that you can get into on this program, but we are focusing on the data portion today so that you can see the differences between Remine and RPR. So a lot of that is done right here in the search button. You can save your searches and you can add it to carts if you wanted to be able to export that data out. However, they do have an engage tab where we can add customers and we can invite them to also explore on this dashboard. There is not a public facing site for this program. Not anybody can just come into Remine and gain access to it. The public facing site portion of Remine is only something that you would give somebody access to. So you can add people into contacts, you can connect them, you can add them to saved searches, and then you can also engage with them here. You can set up a leads page, you can chat with your consumers, and there is a whole consumer side for it. I would say go out here and check it out if that's something you're needing in your business. Also, under the support tab, there is a lot of videos out there. So if you didn't get everything that you needed from me on this platform today, there's a lot of videos that'll walk you through each little piece of what Remine has. So we are going to hop over to the RPR side and show you how that tool differs from this tool. But if you have questions on Remine that pop up, use that Q&A chat and we'll hop back over here so that you can see that. All right, so this is the RPR tool. Again, right away when we land on the dashboard, we can see it's very busy with a lot of tools. So in here, this does have a commercial option. On Remine, you needed to plug in your Moody's tool. On here, you can just search through commercial data by changing this little toggle switch. But we're going to stay focused on residential so that it matches Remine and we can see the differences. So if we scroll on down, right away we see our map. If you save a market, or you wanted to add a market, you could do that here so that you can keep an eye on those markets with just some quick buttons. You have any listings that you have in the MLS system, it's going to pull in here so you can see what everybody else is seeing on RPR. But then you can also save properties. You can see the recent ones that you've looked at. You can see your reports, your notes, everything is here on the dashboard so that you can keep an eye on your recent work. And then you do have the help tools down here at the bottom as well. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to run a search like we just did in our last tool so that we can kind of compare the differences. So in the map search here, we can see that a lot of the tools look the same. We've got some drawing tools and some other features. However, our filters here are very area and property specific. So we don't have the consumer behaviors that we had in Remine. If you're looking for consumer behaviors, head over to Remine. If you're looking for anything that is data public record driven, you're going to come over here to RPR. So we can do anything that is for sale, for lease, or just search the public records. So these searches are going to pull the MLS system, and then this search is going to pull everything. We can look at sold data within a certain time. We can see already that RPR is really more so driven for that CMA kind of brain. And I like to think as RPR was built for the appraiser type personality as well. When you go through these filters and you see the data it gives you, it's very appraiser driven, and appraisers actually do use this system as well. So property type, we have more breakouts here than we did in Remine. So we can go ahead and just stick to single family if we would like. We can add in everything if we're looking for an overall view. But for this, we're just going to stick with single family. We can look at specific price ranges. We can look at size, living area, lot size. This also has a filter for distressed properties if we have any of you guys that are focusing in on any of that. We can pull all kinds of data based on the open houses. Maybe we're taking our customers out on a tour this weekend of all the open houses. We can pull that. There is a lot more lot and land filters in here. So we can see here the different types of vacant lot and land. The organization, so you can search all of Florida in here, and there's a lot of other MLSs in here. So if you wanted to search outside that area, you can do that as well and focus in on just a certain area. And then there's all the miscellaneous fields. So owner occupied, if we wanted to search owner name because we're doing a CMA, year built, there is all of this as well. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and reset and we're gonna close this puppy. So in here, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna draw a shape. And we're going to zoom out. Let's see if I can find the same kind of area we were at before. I think we were up here. We'll go into Fort Myers again. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw a tool. And again, you've got circles, squares, polygons. You can freehand it, but we're going to use the ever popular polygon shape. And we're going to draw that same general shape we did before. It's not going to be exact, but it'll be close enough. Now you can see once we draw a shape, we've got different options with RPR than we did with Remine. We can search this area if we're trying to do a farm market like we just did in Remine, or we can create a market activity report. What this is going to do is give us a report on this specific area, and that's something we can send over to a customer. We can take it and turn it into an email piece, a marketing piece, but we've got more options here. We're going to go ahead and search this area for now, and I will show you guys the report area in just a few minutes. So if we search this area, we can see here that we have several different properties based on some of those filters that we put out. So we're going to change this to public record. And we're going to click search so that we get more stuff than just what's within our MLS. retrieving results, and there is a lot of data. So whether you're doing a search for a buyer, a seller, yourself, whatever it is you're trying to do, you can build out that specific search. Now, if we scroll down here, we see all of our data points. If we want to click on anything, we can see and click into the full print up for that property if need be, and close it out. Now we have the map view open now, but we also have a tile view and a list view. So you've got all different ways that you can view this. So before, when we were on Remine, we had our map and we had our tiles. There was a lot going on. This one, you can toggle between them, come back and alter it as you need to, add filters as you need to. And for both Remine and RPR, you can start with the map and then add filters, or you can do your filters and then add the map. It does not have to be done in a specific order. Now here in RPR, we don't need to add these to a cart and then save them and print them out. There is a button right here where we can just grab our mailing labels and decide if we want it in an Excel spreadsheet, a PDF, what version of Avery are we using, how do we want those labels to look. We've got a few more customizations here than we did in Remine, and we can pull that, get our mailing label and hit the road if need be. Also, when we first drew this map, it asked us if we wanted to pull the data or if we wanted to do a report. You can pull the data and then later go here and pull a report for that area as well. If you wanted to print out this map and the view, you've got that button right here. So a few different options than we had in Remine, but like I said, you've got a huge amount of data in here, and then Remine again has a lot of behavioral data in it. We also can pull a lot of these filters here on the side. We can add points of interest to this map before printing it out. There's a lot of data points in here. We can add in the schools onto this map. We can add in travel time, traffic counts, distances. So there is a lot of layers that we can add to this map before printing it out. So if you're creating some kind of report for the area, maybe you're going to do an open house and you want to show everybody what that area looks like, what's around it, or it's just for a buyer. There's a lot of different ways that you can use this map feature to create a map report for the consumer. Now that we've seen the large view of the data, just like we saw in Remine, but in here, we're going to take a deep dive into the property as well. So we'll go ahead and pull up the same property we just looked at. So we can see here, a lot of this information is going to be similar to what we saw in Remine. It's going to be laid out a lot different though, and it's going to focus on a lot of the stats, again, rather than the consumer behavior. So the last time the closed price was, what they estimate the property to be at, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, square footage. We see a lot of that public data that we saw before. We see the lovely shadow of the Google truck here in the Google map. So a lot of similar features. In here, however, you can take a lot more notes. And if you guys hear a lot of banging, I do apologize. They're working on our roof. So I promise you nobody's going to come falling through the ceiling. The property facts here, you can see what the public data is, but you can add your changes in here. Maybe you talk to the customer on the phone, you're getting ready to list this property, and they said, well, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, but we converted the garage and now there's 4 bedrooms. You can put that in here and save that data in here. When you do a CMA later, it will pull that into your report as well and make life a heck of a lot easier for you. We can see here there's additional resources. They've got third-party vendors that you can use to click through and pull this data into here if you use any of these features. We've got a whole note section here, so maybe it goes beyond the basic property details that they put in here. You can add another row and you can add longer notes in here as well. So interior features, exterior features, the legal description. Again, we have schools. They also use that same third party, which is the niche website. The owner facts, listing history, public records, and then we get a lot more analytical details, right? We've got the sales and financing activities, but it's given to us in chart forms. There's a lot of charts in here. So if you're working with somebody who is that analytical personality, they're gonna like this a lot more. They love their data, they love their scatter plots, they love all of this stuff. More charts on the estimated values for that area. We can see it's gone up and down, and it's interactive too. So if you wanted to open this report right in front of your customer, whether it's your buyer who's trying to make a decision on what they're going to offer, maybe it's the seller trying to figure out where their value is at, you can interact with this chart as well. And that is all of that for the property information. However, you do have all of these buttons running here along the top. You have your updates that you've made to it, and that famous CMA button. Again, in May, we're going to have a class on how to do a CMA. Their CMA is very, very extensive. Again, like I said, this is made for the appraiser mind. So if you're trying to take a very deep dive into the property, I suggest using this tool. You can do a sales comparison analysis instead of a comparative analysis. And when you do this, it'll ask you if you have your license for being an appraiser, but you don't have to do this. Like I said, the appraisers do use this site because of the type of data it provides. They can put that in there, it'll show up on the report, but you can just say skip this step if you're not an appraiser and do a sales comparison analysis. And if you don't know what the difference is because you're brand new to real estate, that's okay. You can read this little description here and it'll help you walk through those steps. Now, you can click into the neighborhood and see all kinds of data on the neighborhood. So this could help you with an open house. It could help you get in a better idea if it's a neighborhood you haven't worked in before, or it could be great for your buyer trying to decide between different neighborhoods. Now, with each property, you can complete different reports as well. So right now we're in the neighborhood summary. If we click create a report, we can see here it's going to bring us right to the neighborhood report. However, while we're in here, you can see that there are a lot of different reports, and this is the section that probably would take the most time to get into or to cover. So I suggest you go out here and play with these different reports, view the samples for each so that you're comfortable with them. You can see here that this report is 28 pages long. However, the seller's report, which is a lot like a CMA, can be approximately, like you see right here, 81 pages long. So with each report, you can customize them. You can take out the pieces that you don't think are necessary. And if you hover over them, they'll show you exactly what that page looks like. So a lot of data out here. If you're an appraiser, you're probably used to this, but as a realtor, it can seem very, very consuming. But if you have that data-driven person, you know, they want the 81 pages. If you have somebody that is like a D personality, they don't want to get caught in all the details, maybe it's better to give them that 28-page report on their property. But there's a lot out here that you can provide to your consumer, no matter who they are. They're a seller, they're a buyer, maybe they're just looking for some data. There's a lot out here that can be provided. So come out here, view these samples, figure out which one it is that you might need, make sure that all of your branding is all set and good to go. You can manage and customize that so that it's good to go, and use this. Other than that, I thank you so much for coming out to today's MLS Monday so that you can use our tools more and more. Do go out onto our education tab on your Matrix dashboard and type in MLS. It'll bring up all of our MLS Monday classes, which are webinar style. It's what you're sitting in right now. So with that, I wish you guys a wonderful week, and we'll see you here next Monday on our MLS Mondays. Thanks so much.